Ladies and gentlemen, theys and thems, weavers and listeners all, welcome to another episode of Occupied with Stardust and Dragons, where we discuss the lore, character developments, the story thus far, and occasionally have the cast on to talk about themselves and their character. Today we have one of the infamous Two Short Men. With a background in theater and stunt work, we have Dan Wood, aka Flip O'Donnell, the velvet suit-wearing hill dwarf gunslinger. Welcome, Dan.
I'm honored to be here, everyone. Thanks so much for having me.
We're the one that's honored. It's been
thank you very much.
It's been a pleasure listening to you
I'm cool with it.
Banter with Christian and the rest of the
Honestly,
group.
What I could say from the very first episode is your guys' back and forth banter is on point.
Yeah,
it
top
is
notch.
So good.
It's hilarious to listen to.
Including the intros when you guys are just like, "Oh yeah, I'm Dan Wood with, as Flip." It's not just that. You have to banter with Christian every episode.
No, it comes really naturally. Christian and I worked very, very closely together. We made a movie together. It was with a bunch of our friends from stunt schools. We were basically just like handing the camera off and forth. And when Christian had to go off and do real stuff and deal with like problem, I would just be like, "Oh, we're in. Okay, I'm directing. Okay, get in position." And it was just that, waking up at like 5 a.m. So
nice.
We're always on the same page, kind of.
Yeah,
so
the banter is excellent.
Yeah,
I love it.
It is.
Yeah.
So I guess for first we'll talk about episode 5, and then we'll kind of get into Flip a little bit more in depth, as much as you're allowed to say. But episode 5 turns out to be tell us everything. Mostly a shopping episode and a lore episode, kind of. So you get a suit for a social gathering. There was a little bit in the beginning of you guys trying to get your money for your winnings from episode 4. So yeah, Thorn,
which I really liked that part. I saw that. I remember hearing that. Like Brendan was gonna talk to the crowd, and he was doing a really bad job of it.
Yeah.
So you kind of took over, like, go get the money.
Yeah, I love that constant go get the money.
I thought for sure that the lady that was sitting at the booth was going to be Miss Maple.
That would have been funny.
I was like, let's do it.
It was a similar voice. I'll give you that.
Now we'll let you in on that if you haven't listened to the other episodes. We've come together and decided that Miss Mapo is the big bad guy.
Yeah.
She runs everything and is everywhere.
Yeah.
It's not a bad guess, honestly. She holds a lot of power in the cluster.
See, told you.
It's hints are everywhere.
I'm sorry. One more time.
We definitely need to get to that episode.
So you guys got your winnings, and then we heard the part where Lyrax got the invitation to go to the dinner. Now, it's one thing that I couldn't quite get. Is it a party, or is it just like a dinner one-on-one thing?
Well, essentially, the high-ranking people of the cluster just love to sort of entertain the guest. The guests they have. So people of interest, being Lyrax, that's someone who's like a real crowd pleaser. So it's like, oh yeah, it's almost like an event to have them. So yeah, come on, come on, yeah.
Yeah. So that kind of like, and then of course you get to the shopping part. The shopping was excellent. I actually liked the way Brandon did it. He said, "I'm not going to have you ask if you can find this and that. Just tell me what you get. I'll tell you what it costs. Describe your persona." And you go through, Brandon with a bullet, which it was funny. It was funny. And then you go Lyrax with his, suit all nice and straightened up and gold trimmed and golden maned. And then Constant comes up, which is, I got to give credit. She plays that persona perfectly. She's like, "I'm not going." They get her in the dress and everything, and it works out well. And then comes Flip, who looks for the goodwill of the galaxy.
Mm-hmm.
walks in a cobalt velvet suit.
Which, is
which
nice.
oh, I love it. I can see it in my mind. I can see a buttoned up hill dwarf walking out of the dressing room thinking he is the shit in this shade off blue velvet suit. I love the visuals of it. You did so well describing it, and the whole montage thing. I really enjoyed it.
I really appreciate that. It's actually kind of based on a true story. Well, I live in North Carolina, and there's a tailor called Hill Stockman, and Mr. Hill has been around for over 100 years. His family. And I remember going to him once with my dad, and I was looking for something. I mean, I don't really like newer stuff. I kind of like vintage stuff. So I was like, Mr. Hill, what do you got for me? He brings out this blue velvet like sport jacket. I have it in like I think I wore it for the recording, and he brings it out.
Awesome.
And my dad's like, that is ugly as sin, and I'm just like, I like mouth open, like, oh my. I'm like, this is Mr. Hill, you've done it. So I walked out with it, and I wore it. I even wore it for the premiere of Christian and I's real life movie. We had a red carpet event. I wore that blue velvet suit jacket. I still think it's very handsome. It's also my favorite David Lynch movie. So filmed in North Carolina. So blue, that's all kind of ties into Flip just doing his own thing.
I loved it. It was great. It was so good.
Y'all are too sweet.
And like we said, it was a pretty quick episode. It went
Yeah.
pretty quickly from that into constant beating the crap out of somebody in a steel cage BattleBot arena. That's a mouthful. And basically she just beats the crap out of this guy. And there was a little bit of missing audio there, so he didn't quite hear who actually stole the Stardust. I'm guessing it was Lyrax.
I believe it was. Yeah, it was a while ago we recorded that. I believe it was Lyrax, but because Lyrax is usually the one getting his hands dirty. It's Brendan pulling the strings, Flip getting a cup of coffee, Constant crying in the corner, just hoping everything turns out all right. So if I believe it is Lyrax.
That is the perfect description of the group.
Yeah, that's the entire show.
That's the show. Yeah.
Constance crying in the corner. Hoping everything will turn out okay.
Honestly.
Flip getting a cup of coffee. And it's like, oh, you all are messing up again. Okay.
Flip's just happy to be there at all times.
Okay, so that was pretty much the episode. It wasn't real long. After so many heavy episodes in a row, because you guys had 2 really heavy episodes, it's kind of nice to have a lighter kind of episode to go through. But I'd like to ask you guys, and I've asked the others also that we've had on so far, how did you come up with the idea of Flip O'Donnell?
Well, it's half based off of a real person and his character he played in another campaign. I know a man. His name is Aaron D. Patterson. I've been playing a campaign with him for about 3 years, and he is actually Scottish. So in this campaign, we have people from all over the world. Some from Germany, some from the UK. Our DM's Filipino, and we have 2 Americans, so obviously I'm the redneck cowboy. So that's what I did. But Aaron, the stoic kind of anchor dwarf character. Like he's very strong, and he's very like, right, so where are we gonna go, who are we gonna, and so he does that. The dad of the group, grandpa, 'cause he's very old.
That's awesome.
But I wanted to do something like that, but a little less involved. In my current campaign, I kind of take on a more prominent role. I'm about to start DMing myself because we're going to my character's home country. So I wanted something where I could be like a supportive figure, but I didn't have to be like too. Like, I kind of want other people's story to flourish. Like I didn't want to be like, oh, Flip has this destiny that he must fulfill. If he does not, then like, oh man, like all the prophecy, it's like 100 years in the making. No, I mean, I just kind of want to help people with their checks, you know. I want to a little. I want to sit back, and Brent and Christian was going all in on he had a what is it? He had like an artificer gunslinger, and he can do all kinds of stuff. And I remember like the first couple sessions, we redid session 1, and I remember him having like so many tools at his disposal. He has Chunk, and Chunk's his little familiar thing. He can like re-roll. He's got magic. He's got all this stuff. Yeah, his homunculus. That's the right one. I'm so sorry, but yeah, he's got all these tools and all this stuff he can do. And I kind of look at my character sheet. And I'm like, oh man, I can like maybe do 2 attacks.
Right.
That's an artificer for you. The artificers.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and I'm kind of like cool with it because I mean I'm used to talking a lot in our D&D and in my other campaign, so I'm always just it's a good back and forth between Aaron and I because Aaron's like, right, this gold has us at his will. What are we gonna do? And me being, okay, anyone but Clyde. So if I kind of want to just be this sort of wise grandpa figure. I mean, Flip probably had he had his adventures, but anything else that comes next is a bonus because he's just lucky to live this long. So he's just kind of scratching his beard in the corner. Whatever anyone else has going on.
How old is Flip?
Gosh, that's been.
That's a hotly debated topic.
It's a highly debated topic. If you ask him, he's 65. I'd say he's probably about 100 years over or so. He went through the Stardust Wars with Brendan, so he's quite old. I think Kanata on the character sheet, I think he's only about 100.
Okay.
It hasn't really come up, so I'm keeping him maybe like 200 and over. He's an old man. That's the running joke. I'm an old man,
Yeah.
I hope that we meet like either some kids or grandkids of Flip at some point.
Oh, that'd be
I would
funny.
love that.
That would be nice.
Love that.
Does he have grandkids or kids? Tell me.
The way I set it up is Flip is someone who's sort of there's definitely like areas we can pick up with this character. If there's ever a high demand for more Flip content, but yeah, I think I mean Aaron. My buddy from the other campaign, he's still just he's a really big inspiration for that character, and I have just so much respect for him because he's helped DM a couple of our sessions too with our current DM, and yeah, I just like how he prioritizes others over himself, I guess.
Yeah, and
it's always about the experience. And I think that's just kind of what I want Flip to be, someone who's always there to maximize what we have going on, especially when you're with someone like Lyrax, that's just
right.
Infinite fun to work with.
Well, and especially right now because at least like episode 3 and 4 were almost, I mean, they were all just Lyrax episodes, and so we got a little bit of story there. And so, we haven't, as far as this recording for episode 5, we haven't listened to anything past
episode
this.
6.
We haven't listened to episode 6, much less how far you guys have recorded. As far as what session you're on, we've officially caught up to the editors.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so we're trying to get with that so that we could get the final cut for a lot of the other episodes to listen to. But so we've gotten a little bit of lore for Flip, a little bit, for the Two Short Men in general. Constant had a decent piece, kind of like episode 1 and 3-ish, and then the end of 3 into 4 was all Lyrax. So it's cool to see how you guys are meshing everything together, and like you said, how you kind of wanted to just be supplemental as far as the party's concerned. Right now, story wise, we haven't. I want to get to Flip, and so I know you telling us we're eventually going to get to his home planet and things. It gives me hope.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
In between the internet struggling too.
Yeah.
The internet wants to keep it a secret. So
yeah, we got a bunch of redacted information and just little tidbits of nuggets that we're gonna piece together.
That's my CIA agent.
That's Christian in the background just pulling your Wi-Fi.
No. do you know when? So I know right now we're on a Lyrax centric episodes. When do you around what episode do you think we're getting into a flip centric episode? Can you tell us that? Can you tell me that?
We don't have a plan for it really. It's not a super high priority. If anything, we're gonna do a Two Short Men episode. It's gonna be as a unit, mostly just because well, it's a little off topic, but the Two Short Men was a bit that Christian and I did in stunt school when we were training together in Seattle. We did a scene with a real dude named Big Ben, who actually came back for our movie. So we just sort of based that around him. Big Ben's this, uncatchable target for the Two Short Men. Like literally they have him dead to rights. They'll have him like on the ground, bleeding, gun to his head. They'll turn away for a second. He'll come back and he's gone. And it's just like, oh, wait, you go back. So if anything, like Big Ben might come back. We'll dive into that a little bit more. Maybe something with Christian and I working as a unit, but there's not a ton of plans for Flip right now. But again, it just depends on where Brandon wants to go with it and where the writers and everything, because we've set a bunch of traps all around this story, so you never know which will set off.
Yeah.
No, I've fully enjoyed listening to this, and I've said it to the other cast members we had on. I've really enjoyed listening to you guys, especially as you're growing into your characters more and kind of meshing more. And even with you, because I know we haven't heard a lot from Flip, but you could tell he's there as a support character. So I'm as an older player, I've enjoyed it. It's kind of neat, and I don't hear a lot of stuff that I haven't heard before. And I'm actually hearing stuff I haven't heard before on here, and I like that. It's really drawn me in, and I've really enjoyed listening to you guys. So, thanks very much for doing it. I mean,
yeah,
honestly,
I appreciate that so much. That's a wonderful compliment. Most of the time I am so quiet is because I'm feverishly writing down summaries of episodes, because now I am supposed to do that. So I am in the background feverishly writing down important things that happen. So if I'm a little distracted, also I didn't have my computer for 2 episodes, so I had to borrow my computer from my mom and record on my phone. But we ball, so we're back.
Yeah.
So then that means I have to get in contact with you and get info when you get your summaries for the episodes. Shoot them over to me. I'll give you the podcast email. And I can put it in the show notes for the Occupied With, since that we're supposed to do, the talk show after episode. We could get the summary going.
Of course, yeah. No, I got a little sketchbook. I gotta digitize them, but yeah, I'll get that to you.
Perfect. Now, something that we have done so far with all the other cast members is we have asked them to create an NPC with us. And we made it super hard for Brandon, because he came on and did an NPC with us for Occupied With, and then we made him do a whole ass organization and base in the main podcast. But for today, would you be willing to make an NPC with us?
Absolutely, no question.
And hey, Brandon, here's another one for you. It's been the running joke.
Yeah, we've been putting these NPCs into Stardust and Dragons world, and making Brandon come up with stuff to use them with.
Yeah, poor man.
Yeah,
actually, he's done really well with it.
He loves it.
He loves it.
His episode, which was episode 2 of Occupied With, we did a Dying Heart, and he was like, "Oh yeah, no, when this character comes up, and." Then with Max, we made Alista, this Hummingbird era Kokra character, and we threw it to him. We were like, hey, so this is like a military person, kind of a pilot character. Okay, yeah. So can you make a military base? Yeah, okay, hold on. So it's been a lot of fun to see his inner workings go. So we'll make something. But I kind of want to challenge all of us really to make another bounty hunter, something, maybe either a rival bounty hunter or a friend of the Two Short Men.
Okay, I think a rival would be too easy. Let's do a friend.
Okay,
I like that.
What's your favorite race, Dan?
I just want to say goblin.
Goblin.
Like, yes.
Like, I mean, that's
I love goblins.
my friends were telling me to get Baldur's Gate 3, and I just like, can you be a goblin? Like, well, no, you can be a deep gnome, and I'm like, it's close enough, you know.
You can have goblin energy. It's fine.
Yeah,
I
goblin
definitely
energy.
do. 5'6", you know, that's just me wearing shoes. When I take them off, I'm 4 foot even. Very tall shoes, but I always make goblin characters. I always do. I love them, mostly
That's
just
funny.
because. What are you gonna do? Hit the little guy? And they usually
Right.
do. But I think
Okay.
the concept of bounty hunters is often very romanticized because you have characters like Spike Spiegel and Boba Fett. You know, they're
Right.
people that kind of be like, oh yeah, I'm hanging with the great people. But if you really look into what a bounty hunter does, it's sad work. You know, it's like
Yeah.
people who like didn't show up to court for like a you know, whatever, you know, child custody thing, and I just would really, it'd be kind of fun to see like a goblin who really gets his hands dirty. You know, he's an NRA kind of goblin. You know, he's always he's voting red across the galaxy. So but you know, he's just
Voting
like,
red
sir.
across the galaxy.
His
I'm just trying to do
his-
my job. I know you did not make your court appearance, but I just need you to come with me. I don't care. Okay, you can take care of your kids later. You can take care of your wife, but I need you to come with me, sir.
and he's just the most unintimidating dude you've ever
my
seen. So
God.
you just automatically hate him. You know, he's probably like 100 pounds soaking wet.
You
But
know,
you know what? He does his job.
I was gonna name the goblin, and I was gonna say Plelix, but this is too much of a name for this goblin. I'm gonna name it Plard, Plard.
I like a
And
name that sounds like
I
onomatopoeia.
really want Flip just to call him Gus.
His name's nowhere close to Gus, but he just does
Yeah.
anyway.
Because he annoys him so badly, he just calls him Gus.
So we have
I think Gus is funny. I'm also pretty fond of Jimmy. That's one thing my dad would call me Jimmy just for no reason. He'd be like, all right, Jimmy. And
Okay.
it's the most demeaning name because it's like, hey, it's not my name.
yeah.
I'm like, why do you call me that? It's like, it's kind of fun.
Yeah, as our listeners can see
Listen.
from your name tag, like your name's Robert Wood, and you go,
Oh, very
you just get called Jimmy for no reason.
One of my best friends in high school, his name was Bob. His name was not Bob, but everybody called him Bob, including his parents,
It's
Jeez.
funny.
because he had the same name as his dad.
Huh.
And his dad got sick and tired of people calling and asking for him, and then getting the phone mixed up, so he just started calling him Bob.
That's
a
funny.
great. No, it's a great bit. We had a similar case in my high school with a man named Ben. They went by Tobias. He caught on real quick.
Oh,
Oh my
oh
god.
God, no.
Oh.
So the
It
reason
was
why we're
great.
all groaning is because Thorn plays a character named Tobias, and he is the bane of all of our DM existences.
I'm sorry.
He is the bane of our existences. Not
Sounds like a
I've never
legend.
DM'd for it, but I played in a game where he's appeared, and he is the bane of my existence. Yes.
Be
So-
happy.
We're gonna reel it back into this NPC Plard, quotation marks Jimmy. So obviously we have Jimmy's a bounty hunter. Thorn or Brian, what is one encounter that we can find for our party to meet Plard?
They go and crack corn.
They go and crack corn. Are you serious?
Wait,
Let me
what?
crack corn and I don't care.
Wow.
Oh,
You know,
my
just because
God.
of that, sure, why not? Me crack corn. And that's
Jimmy crack
know-
corn, and I don't. My God, that's about as redneck as you get.
I mean,
I'm
outside of
feeding
playing
into it.
cornhole, you know.
I'm so
so
sorry.
it goes great with the voice that Dan came up with
Oh yeah,
for
no.
him. So
I
I
mean,
can see the party coming up to Plard, and Flip's just like, "Hey Jimmy, how you doing?" And Jimmy crack corn, I don't care. Just
Oh
This is-
man.
See,
Awesome.
even on that note, like with the voice that he gave it, it just made me think of like a repo driver.
a repo. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's the
Oh.
repo driver.
Like he does all
Oh,
the.
yes.
Like, he's like a tow driver, like a repo man, and like a
That's his
casual bounty
bounties.
hunter.
His bounties are like
All just, like,
people that have
ship
fallen
repos.
behind on their spaceships.
Ship repos,
Ship
yes.
repos.
He puts a lock
Oh
on
my
it.
gosh.
Like,
Here's
I mean,
here's one. Here's an encounter. They're coming like the two short men. Everybody's coming back to the ship, and Jimmy's leaning up against it.
hmm
He's like,
no.
"No, I'm not here for yours."
Thank God.
He's like, "But have you seen this guy?"
Hey,
And it's
Look
like
here,
a really
Jimmy.
bad sketch. It's like,
Yeah.
have you seen this
It's
one?
like a stick figure with a
Yeah,
circle
it's
behind him.
And then when
you
when he
better
actually
believe
describes
sketch
it,
artist,
right?
you better believe sketch artist is on his resume.
Yeah.
And when Plard describes the character that he's looking for, like, oh, I'm not here for your ship, but when he describes him, it either looks like Flip or it looks like Brendan.
Oh,
And he's like,
yes.
they're like looking at each other, like, but you said it's not me, so I love it. Sketch
no,
artist.
I know. It's something a little different, but we're gonna get to the bottom of it. Us being bounty, like, you're not really a bounty hunter. You're more of a repo man. And it's like, well, I do good work. I do good work. All right.
One of the most hated goblins in the galaxy, the Repo Man.
The most
love
it.
throwable goblin.
It's a living.
And what we have to make Brandon come up with the repo company.
Oh,
I love it.
no.
Yes. Hi, Brandon.
Hi, Brandon.
We're gonna be talking to you in a little while.
We are.
Yeah, you're gonna have fun with this one.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I kind of want to play this character, to be honest. When we do the one shot with Brandon, since Pup is going to be the one DMing, I think I'm going to play Plard. I've got to be the Repo Man.
Oh my god.
I'm
Well,
not
this
sure
is-
what I'm gonna play yet.
Yeah.
First thing
And-
that came to mind in terms of like a company was just like Ismon now. Kind of
Is
just, like
mine
as you kind of read it out on the
Is
card, it
mine
just
now.
looks like it looks like it's mine now. It's like, well,
Well, I'm with the Ismon now kind of company, and it just look at
Oh,
it.
he just gave the company a name.
Jeez.
Is
don't
mine
know.
That
now?
you're making it easy for Brandon. Stop.
That's my
I know.
job. I have to
That's
calm
actually
down
perfect.
Christian. In between. So,
It's
you know,
like it's called Is Mine Now, and then like it's like owned by Not and Yours. Like a,
Yes.
No, that could be
Other
the
goblins.
owners. That could be the
Yeah,
co-owners.
that's
Yep.
honest.
but it's like
Two other
it's like
goblins.
It's like
KNOTT.
K as Not-
Yeah.
KNOTT.
this reminds me of
Yours
like that,
is YURRS, not
It's like
yours.
that Star Wars joke where they're kind of getting into the deep lore characters like Glup Shido or something.
Yes.
where it's just like, okay, sure, yeah, his name's not yours. Whatever. Yeah.
It's a real name. I told you, it was his father's name and his father's name. And it's like, what? Where did? Don't tell me you ain't been to Dalmar.
We're getting into a rabbit hole, but with Star Wars, there was a video game just recently that had like, it looked like it was going to be a big bad, and it was just like Tim the janitor, and like you could one shot him with one swipe of the lightsaber, but it had like boss music. He came out with his wrench. It had the red enemy bar. And every video gamer that has streamed and like was worried about this fight has just died laughing when they finally kill the guy. It's just like one hit, and he's like, Ben, and Tim is dead. Like, all right, Tim the janitor is dead. Great. So
Oh, man.
while we're on the topic of coming back and getting Brandon on and stuff, we have to get you on as well. We want to do a episode of an interview of just you and tabletop RPG in general for the main podcast, This Dungeon is Occupied. So we'd love to get you on if we could.
I'd love to. Yeah.
And maybe
Yeah, I do voices sometimes.
sometimes, yeah. You haven't been doing one all this whole time.
No.
Yeah.
This
We
is
need to
not-
talk
this-
about that because I don't do.
Yeah,
voices.
we need to talk about voices
Yeah.
for sure. I do want to talk about some of your stunt stuff and your movies and your theater background. So that would be great on the regular podcast. And then if you'd like to join the one shot, we might end up just making a whole cast fucking one shot and just doing it all.
Oh,
in
that'd
one
be
go.
great. Oh, we should do a whole cast one shot with 3 DMs.
Oh my god, that sounds amazing.
That would be interesting.
Y'all just go into a private chat. It's just like, kill him.
No, he's pissing me off. All right, kill him. This bit's gone on long enough.
And then what are you gonna do? You're gonna go up against 3 DMs? No, you can't do it.
Yeah.
Shut him down.
Did I mention my DM character that I have? He's, it's God. He's level 40. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
He's really short, wears a red robe,
Yeah.
has big ears, kind of a bald head.
The player just does an 18 hit. It's like, well, not really. You know,
Yeah.
He's kind of ethereal when you think. It's like, God damn it.
Or if you want to play like me, it does an 18 hit. Well, it hits his toe, so I mean, you could do like 1 damage. Is that good enough?
Maybe.
Yeah, roll to
Maybe.
attack. And then
Yeah.
split it into half that, and then half
Right.
that, and then half that. And then
Yeah. Like one of those. I feel it gives me like Final Fantasy vibes of like you have to. You kill one head, but then you've still got like 5 other fucking targets to go through, and then they they heal a little bit, and they've got like new fucking moves. Yeah, it's a whole thing. that's the DMPC right there, all in a nutshell.
No, I'm writing it down. You're wearing them down. You're getting them.
Yeah. We've been through like 400 hit points. Yeah. You're close. I
I'm keeping
swear.
track.
Promise.
I'll tell you when he's dead. Don't worry.
Okay, the
It'll be really
6.
cool.
Right? Yeah.
We'll
Is he looking
describe it
rough?
and
Well,
everything.
he's yawning. Does that work?
He's
that
getting
help?
sleepy.
Yeah.
He's laying down. You knocked him down.
Yeah.
Oh, no, he's snoring.
Yep.
He's snoring. It's okay though. Keep going at it.
Yep. Keep going. Well, I hate to cut this so short. I don't know what you guys think, Thorn and Pup and Brian.
I want to ask him which episode has been your favorite so far.
Oh, good question.
Oh man.
And
one
this-
we
I'm
haven't
just
heard
talking-
yet.
Yeah, it's probably going to be one we haven't heard yet, but I'm talking like the first 5.
I do think it's kind of like the first 3 for me because
Yeah.
I kind of wrote Flip as kind of queer coded. And I think that works a lot because Brendan always walks up and announces like, "Well, you see, we're partners, you see," and he's like, "Right, we're partners." Oh, well, he'll never buy me a ring, that kind of thing. He's like,
Oh,
The one-liners are fucking hilarious.
Yes.
I love playing off that sort of thing, and the fact that Flip is very much a homemaker, and we have to show off this very kind of trashy ship to Lyrax and Constant. But it's like, well, it does have a lazy Susan, like little stuff.
Just that's like gives me 50s housewife vibes.
Right.
It totally is.
It really does.
He really is. Flip just wants the place to look nice. He's vacuuming, He doesn't go in the workshop. That's where the men work. But I've made muffins, you guys.
That gives a whole other dimension to Flip. It really does.
It does.
It's
I
just
love
in
it.
between like shooting people,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the initial description I had for him was Winnie the Pooh if he served time and if he did active duty in Korea.
Oh, fuck.
Jesus.
Oh.
Holy shit.
We heard that. We heard someone said that last night.
No,
about
Raina said it. Raina said it because when Lyrax came out, he was just describing like his suit coat.
Oh yeah.
And Raina's
yeah.
is he like
She
Winnie
thought
the
he was
Poohing
going-
it?
Yeah. Is he going full
Which
Pooh
I
Bear?
lost it.
Yeah.
I lost it. I
Oh
laughed my
yeah,
butt
you
off.
pooping?
Yeah.
You never go full Pooh Bear.
Lyrax is just the best.
Oh man.
Wow.
It's been
God.
no. That brings a whole other dimension. So will that ever come to fruition? Will it ever explain more about that?
I mean,
Are
Flip
they
always
a couple?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
Flip always he always wants a family, and the thing is, he sees Brendan very much as just like someone he works with, like a very trusted friend, coworker. You know, it's not a romantic relationship, but he does wish there were more people on the ship. And the second Lyrax and Costa come out, he's just like, oh, lovely, I'll pick up the bits. Oh, I'll teach you how to shoot a gun. Come here, no, it's easy.
Oh, that was
like
great.
That
that kind of weird grandpa. It's just like, yeah, that's a lot of metals, grandpa. What did you do? I better not get into that. You know, it was a different time. You know, like, oh my God.
That the teaching Lyrax to shoot was great.
Extremely
That
wholesome.
was, it was so great.
And I do love in episode 5 when you finally go up to Lyrax after the battle, and you're like, why did you want to learn how to do a gun? You could use a sword.
You're really good at that.
Oh,
the accent makes it.
It
the
does.
accent makes it. And you're so good at that accent, it's insane.
People ask about that, and they're like, how are you so good at that? It's just like, I play with an angry Scottish dude, like, very often.
Yeah.
And most of the time, he's yelling at me. Like, because I'm always
And he's
just
yelling,
like,
you're like, I'm sorry.
no, literally, like, the second I make fun of Aaron so often because his catchphrase is always just, right. So, like, our DM Kirby, my current partner, he'll be like, he'll drop some heavy deity has explained the lore of the universe to you, and the entire party falls silent. Aaron is always the first to break it with Phil. He'll just go, right, so what we doing? You know? And then my character Clyde's just like, oh, I got an idea. I got a real good idea, Phil. And it's just like, right, anyone besides Clyde, because I can't deal with it right now. I just can't. Like, he's just too stupid. It's like -1 intelligence.
Do y'all record these?
We do not, unfortunately.
Oh,
but
man.
we
God.
have pages and pages of lore written down.
So
I
funny.
do. I wish we need to record.
I would love to be a fly.
I mean, at least
Yeah, I would love to.
At least like some TikTok clips, because I've seen that a lot of, like, just somebody's regular game, and they just take a clip of a really cool scene from a DM or something, just to see that, because I'd love to see your banter with Aaron now.
I would love to see your notes, your lore notes.
Oh, my notes are a
games.
mess because
That's
I
okay.
usually
Give them
play heavily inebriated. I even played on psychedelics one time and was just like, we went into the future and was like, hover boots? Wow. That was about it. And it was like, it was like hover boots. Wow. Gonna steal them? Question mark?
Hey,
I did.
yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Why not? When you have hover boots, must have.
That's a great.
Yes.
I'm a regular Star-Lord with them now. It's amazing. I built a vulture suit from like Spider-Man.
Oh,
It's
nice.
great.
Nice.
With -1 intelligence, I just find smarter people to do things for me, just like
There you
real
go.
life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's a given.
Yeah. If you're
That just shows
funny,
maturity.
Look, I cannot do this. Look, I need you to go on record. I cannot legally do this, but if you were to help me in building a vulture suit that could spit fire, maybe, just maybe, we could get ahead in life a little bit, you know?
Does Clyde call everyone brother? Because that's
Not
the voice that
really.
it's giving me.
he does.
Let me
he
tell
does
you
a
something,
little-
brother.
He's like John. He's like kind of both Red Dead protagonists. Is like
Uh-huh.
put in. I think almost all three of them, like Jack, John, and Arthur, all put into one.
I can see that.
Plus, like Solid Snake a little bit,
And he just, I wanted to
Yeah.
sound nasally, but low at the same time.
because he's like a half elf, and he talks through his nose sometimes. So he's like, no,
We need to.
so
That's cool.
it's a jumble of all those.
Yeah. So I guess we'll do final thoughts for Occupied With, because apparently we could talk forever now. And we'll have to get.
That's what bonus content is for.
That's exactly
So
right.
Everybody look for our Patreon. If you
Yeah.
want this kind of bonus content, it's on our Patreon and it's on their Patreon.
Yeah.
And give them the Patreon info.
That's what I thought. So
Yeah.
our Patreon for This Dungeon is Occupied is just that, / This Dungeon is Occupied. And for Stardust and Dragons, it is / Speakeasy Productions. So if you're listening to this now, that means you missed out because the bonus content and the Patreon get it one day after the episode airs. So episode 5 aired yesterday, and then this aired on Patreon. So you're getting it a whole week later. So, you know, hey, $5, you get behind the scenes content, you get extra posts on both of our Patreons, and you get the episodes earlier. So what are you doing? $5. Go for it.
Do it now.
See,
They're holding me hostage. Do it.
You know
I mean,
you're
hey,
right.
$5, so let me go.
For $5, let me. Okay, now I'm gonna put like the arms of the angels in the background.
It's just a picture of like of just me. Help this
$5,
man.
you can feed a starving artist.
Yeah.
For just a low price, you can give Robert Wood 5 inches of height.
There you go.
Give him
So, you know,
shoes.
I was thinking, you know, just for $5 a month, you could caffeinate all of your cast and crew, so we can have better episodes and we're not tired. Because you know,
That's my worst fear.
the problems of being nerds is we stay up entirely too long for our own good health. So
Or you work overnights.
or you work
In which
overnights.
Or you
Or
play
have
Baldur's
full-time
Gate.
jobs.
Or you play Baldur's Gate. I'm so excited for that game. But anyway, thank you again.
Yeah. So
Hey,
thank you
no
for
worries.
if you're a patron, thank you for being a patron. Thanks for listening now. And if you're a regular listener, get on Patreon. You get to hear all the bonus stuff. And thanks again, Dan, for coming on and talking to us about episode 5 and a little bit giving us some awesome lore about Flip, including
Oh,
some
and there's
redacted
going to be
stuff.
so much bonus content because we've got some talking to do.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh my gosh.
So stick around. But for the listeners, remember to check your dungeons because this dungeon is occupied with Stardust and Dragons.